Hello, this is a vintage fisherman, John here. Today I got one of my reels that I use quite often on the bench here. It's a Slosh 30 SL30SH. Us surf casters call these Slosh 20, Slosh 30, but it's got a 20 side plate because when I bought this reel, the side plate was destroyed, so I got it for cheap, and I put a new side plate on it, and I rebuilt it. It's been probably 2-3 years ago, and it's been a great reel. It casts really well. It doesn't have magnetic braking on it. It's got centrifugal weights, which you can take one off or both off. I think it's got 2 of them on there. Pretty nice reel. I use it for my anchor rods on the coast for king pier fishing, the float rigs, trolley rigs, whatever we throw an anchor out. And that's what this reel, it's actually my backup reel or backup rod. I've got it on a Okuma longitude 12 foot. My go-to rods are always the breakaway HDXs, but the 13 footers, they're a great 8 and bait or anchor rod, but the Okuma longitude's a really good rod for the money. Highly recommend it. But anyway, the last time I used this thing, because I normally use I've got a Squall Casting Special 15. It's got the knob on it. I got it brand new this time last year, and I normally use it. And I decided it was a rainy day. I don't like to get my brand new reels out in the rain. This is a used reel. I didn't pay anything for it. So I used it, and it cast out there the first time fine. I was resetting my anchor, and I let it rip, and lo and behold, it blew up on me. Something just didn't sound right in it, but I don't really know what happened. So anyway, I parked it. I grabbed one of my other rods off the cart and used it. But something didn't sound right when it cast. But it's I mean, it's not spinning great, but I'm not seeing any problems with it. Maybe I need to loosen it up a little bit. But I'm gonna put new bearings in it just because. So let's see what it's made of. I don't think it needs a cleaning. It just needs a little tune. These are really good reels. If you get a hold of one, you see one, don't pass it up. Even if it needs to be gone through, they're not hard to work on. And it's Daiwa quality all the way. You can't beat it. They do cast a country mile, no doubt about it. You can tell it was owned by somebody else, and it was the handle. I remember being loose, and you can see signs of a loose handle there. But somebody definitely used it, and they definitely loved it. And you got 6 screws holding this thing together. They have some pretty massive gears in them. It's a high-speed reel, 6-to-1, 4-ball bearing reel, 6.1-to-1, super high speed. Great for pulling anchors back, by the way. Let me tell you, you don't want to use something slow speed pulling an anchor back because it'll keep dragging it on the bottom and just causes more problems. And if a storm's rolling up on you and you want to get that anchor in quick, the faster, the better. But usually once you pop that anchor up and start cranking, it's in just seconds. Even a couple 100 yards of line out, you can get back pretty quick. So I got a set of Bokas I'm going to put in there. Those are ABEX 7s. Sealed. I got mixed reviews on the sealed bearings. Some people say that the seal slows them down whatever, you know. It's frog hairs for me. I don't really care. I do like a smooth reel, smooth casting reel, but I'm not a world class surf caster, so what difference does it make, right? There's guys I fish with on the pier. Man, they throw like pros. They can make them sing. They can take reels that I cast with, and I think, well, hell, that damn thing's just junk, and they'll just throw it, and that thing will just keep going. There's a touch to it. All right. So everything looks good in here. Not seeing any issues. Maybe a little too much grease. Not a lot of grease on that yoke there, but nothing's gummed up. This is all I used. And usually in the Japanese reels, don't know why I do it, but I use super lube. Somebody's gonna say, "Oh my gosh, it's the worst stuff in the world." Yeah, it probably is. I don't know. But I got way too much on there. It does gunk up from the gear, you know. Okay, so there's a bearing right here we're going to address first thing. So I'm going to lay everything out in a stack. You've got that bearing seems awfully loose on there. Bearing. See, that bearing just, that just doesn't look right to me, you know. Maybe these bearings will be right. Who knows? Let's see if I can slide all this off. I'm sure there's a bearing up under the drag stack. So the drag has been upgraded per my typical work I do to reels. It's got Carbon Tex. It doesn't want to come apart for whatever reason. Don't know why. That one's hung up. There, that's the main gear. There's your anti-reverse pawl. It's got a spring on it. I'm sure there's a bearing underneath there. So let's address that. There's a bearing right there, which may be fun to get out of there. Let's see if I can. Ooh, glad I saw that. There's a spacer that was up under there. Just one. There we go. There's two bearings. It's a 4-ball bearing reel, so we're narrowing them down. I think the other bearings are on the spool, but let's get our Bocas out here. I've had these bearings for a while. I just haven't got around to putting them in. And I will save the old bearings and put back in here, and I'll write old bearings on the package, of course. But so here he is. That's not right. Well, wait a minute. We might jump the gun there. Hold on. Here it is, I believe. I have found nothing against Boca, but I have gotten the wrong bearings from them more than once. Gets aggravating. I don't think this one's right either. Yep, they sent me the wrong bearings. So, golly, incredible. Incredible. I've had this problem with Boca several times. Don't know why. they can't seem to get it right, and I'm getting really frustrated with them, to be honest with you. So there we go. Can't do nothing with this reel. A couple of the bearings will probably be right. It's not even worth sending them back. I get agitated with them. If there was another source out there that's better than Boca, please let me know, because like I said, I'm getting real frustrated with them. I was on the Boca website this morning and ordered some bearings from them. Now I'm wishing I hadn't placed that order. So that bearing there, if I can't get the right bearing, I guess it's not the end of the world, but anyway, not happy about it, you know. Just not happy about it. I'll put a little bit of go juice on that bearing though. Shit. Yeah, it's on there. I was making sure that the little spacer was on there. Pardon my language. This ain't a kid-friendly show all the time. All right. Here we go. Yeah, there's a couple bearings up under there. Let's put this back on. So there's your anti-reverse. All right. Yeah, I think I can go ahead and put this whole top back together. Dadgummit. Drags on my anchor reels are not super important because I'm not going to actually fight a fish on it. They simply adjust down and hold anchor in place all day. That's all they do. That's their only job for this reel. So I'm not going to put any cowls on it, okay? All right, we're going to hold right there because I think this bearing here is the same. Is that one? Yeah. So we might have got one bearing, at least one bearing out of the bath. And that does fit much better. That bearing there, look how much slop on that shaft with this one. So we're good there. I gotta look at that and see how that goes. I do have the schematic out here, folks. Okay, it goes down towards the bearing. That's kind of odd. I guess it's a seal. But this is a sealed bearing. Do I really need that? It's probably going to rub the seal. I don't need that with a sealed bearing. So I'm going to put it in just like that. Okay, I got those opposing each other. I may have to take things back apart, but I think I can access the other two bearings by pulling the clicker cover off, the palm cover off. We're going to put those in the baggie together. They'll go in this baggie. I've got a bin for my Slosh 30 parts. I'll put some oil down that tension knob there. Put that to the top. Something don't want to line up right. I see a problem here. There's where one bearing goes. It's missing. No, I don't think it goes there. It does fit in there, but no, not quite right, so we'll leave that out. But why is this thing not going back together right? Hey, don't give you much of a chance to get it right, to be honest with you. Oh, that ain't right. That ain't right. Oh boy. Oh goodness. We'll get it. The jack plate's holding it up. Goodness gracious. Or not. I don't know really why it's not lining up down in there. Finicky little rascal, ain't it? Let's just do it in this position. That should know where to go to. Way down there, that's even worse. Yeah, that's gotta be it right there, but it's nowhere close. Alright, let's take it back apart. Something ain't right. So you can't tell if those springs are going into their pockets up in there. It's all guesswork. You know, I mean, I can't put eyes up inside of it. It just doesn't seem like it's. There it goes. All right. Back in business. So we got one bearing upgraded in it. That was the handle bearing. I'm hoping that 2 of the 3 bearings are right for the spool. The spool is the main thing I want to upgrade. But I ordered a kit that's supposed to work for the Slosh 20 and Slosh 30 reels. They're both one and the same. The only difference is one of them's got more capacity than the other, so it's got a wider spool. It's really the only difference in the 2 reels. I don't know why Boca got it wrong, but they got it wrong. We're going to make sure this thing functions right before we go to the other side of it and pull the spool. I'm not gonna put the handle on, but yeah, okay, there we go. We got, that is a lot better. There's not as much slop in that handle. I don't think that caused my casting problem by any means. Okay. All right, let's move over to this side. We're good on that side. I'll put those parts on when I get done with it. This side should be a lot easier to deal with than the other side. Like I said, all this is new. I ordered this from Daiwa, America, because the other cover was smashed, and they did have the proper ring, trim ring in stock, but they didn't have the one that said Slosh or SL30SH on it. And I was like, well, I know for a fact the 20 and the 30 are the same end plates, just one's got 30 on it, one's got 20 on it. And the lady said, yes, you're correct. And I said, just send me the 20 plate. There's no difference in it in size. I don't care as long as it fits, right? Okay, I'm pretty sure we got a, that's where the little bitty bearing goes. Okay. When this comes out, and there's a bearing underneath there. That's it. So I do have the right bearings here. So your small bearing will go underneath here. To get to that, you got to remove the bearing retainer, which is also, and you want to be careful you don't bend this, because your flyweights on your spool fly out against that, and you don't, and I'm running both my flyweights, by the way. You don't want those, you don't want that ring to be out of round. So just be careful. Don't bend it by any means. Just be careful. So I think the ring will, yeah, the ring comes out, and here's the retainer. Now I gotta get that bearing out of there. That's gonna be fun. And not bend that up. Yay me. Wow. Well, You're gonna hear me cuss if I bend something. Right there. Okay, that came out good. There's a felt piece there, and I should have or something close in size here as far as punches that I can probably put in there. And no, is that it? That's too big. Normally what I would do is put the spool on, so I done lost one of my weights already. I put the spool on and just try to get the bearing walking out. It's coming. There it is. There is a, and that is the right bearing right there. Good deal. There is a little shim down there for the put the pressure on the spool. Let's make sure that's right. Yeah, it's the right one. I'm going to put some oil on that tension, but I don't know if I need to oil these bearings or not. Okay. We have, now this has got another felt pad on it. I don't think it's needed. These are sealed bearings, so I'm going to pull this felt pad off, put it in with the old bearing, because I'm not going to throw these bearings away by any means. So that bearing goes in this package with that felt piece. And we'll save that for a rainy day. And this will just go down in there. That retains the bearing. Well, this retains the retainer. This will go in. Probably aggravate me a little bit, but it sits on there like that. And this will go in and go on there that, but it's got to click into that bait clicker. So I don't use a bait clicker on an anchor reel, but there's no reason not to have it, you know. So there it's there. You see it snap back into the bait clicker, and then you got a retaining screw. Now I'm not gonna fight this with my hands today. I've got this tool here to clamp screws and install them. You basically, let me show you how that works. As you push in, it spreads so it holds the screw, and then you push this button that releases the screw. So I'll put the screw in there and push it in, and it'll hold the screw for me. And that way I don't have to try to get my big fingers down in there and start a screw in its place. Okay. I'm going to take a cotton swab and wipe any grease I might have got on that ring off, so that those flyweights will make contact with them. Now, there is a snap ring in there. Oh boy. I might have been better off taking that out the other way. Goodness gracious. And I do believe that is that bearing. Let's just see. Yes, it is. So I've got two of those now. Not really sure how I'm gonna get that spring out of there. I'm gonna have to take the other side of the reel back apart. We'll see how tight it is in there first off. Yeah, it's pretty tight. I think I just popped it loose. I'm not sure how that's gonna come out of there. I'm gonna have to take the whole reel back apart to get to that one. Get my dental pick in there, maybe that'll help me get up under it. I kind of doubt it's got enough strength to it. Nah, that's not going to work. I'll just end up breaking that. That doesn't have enough tip on it. Yeah, I'm probably going to take the whole reel back apart to get to this one. Son of a gun. I don't even know for sure it'll come out the other way. I had such a hard time getting this reel together on that side. I don't know if I want to fool with it or not. What I'm afraid of here too is if I do get it coming out, it's going to fly away. If I had just a little bit of a place to get in there, but there's nothing. Doing surgery here. I need a really sharp little screwdriver. Let's see, I'm not really even sure if I take the reel apart if I can get to it from the other side, because I don't see it. Well, that's the only option at this point, so it's got to all come apart, unfortunately. So I'll just have to deal with it again. I think it's just a safe bet on this. I don't think I'll ever get that piece to get off of there right. The joys of dealing with these complicated reels. This is a Japanese made Daiwa. They're very good quality. Not complaining. This Slosh is a very popular reel. I know it's used by a lot of distance casting competitors. They can do a lot of different tunings with them and stuff. It's also strong enough to use in the surf for pretty good sized fish. So Daiwa missed it on by one bearing. Yeah, they almost had it. I mean, not Daiwa, Boca. I don't really know why. And I've had this happen before with Boca. Don't know if they if they actually work on reels or just go up by what people tell them they need to put in the packages or how that works. But like I said, this ain't my first rodeo with Boca getting something wrong. All right, let's have fun again. Gosh. I think I can just pull. No, I gotta take it all the way down. Golly. Stubborn right there. Ah, something that catches it right there every time. That comes out. I think if I got this figured out right, it's going to push right up out of there. I've got my hands so greasy right now, I can't touch anything. Alright, let's get it right. Folks, I use these, taking a minute here to take a deep breath. I use these white cotton t-shirt wiping cloths from Ace Hardware. They're cheap. It's like $8 for a bag, and they last me for a good month or so while I'm working on these reels. They're good for wiping things down. Let's see if I can get a hold of it. I don't think it comes out that way. Nope. Nope, it doesn't. Yeah, there is a step in there, so it's not going to come out that way. Oh, gosh. So that was all a big waste of time. Do they show that bushing coming out of there? No. I shouldn't even bother to take this apart if I read that right. It's got to come out the bottom. And honestly, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't see it happening. Can't get that snap ring out of there. There's no way to get a hold of it. They didn't give you like a little hook on it to grab it with. So, yeah. May not be able to change this bearing with the tools I have here, unfortunately. I need a really, really sharp little point, like the point of a good X-Acto knife. And I don't think I've got any more X-Acto knife blades here anymore. I've used them all. So just SOL. Here's a couple of really small eyeglass screwdrivers. Maybe one of these will get in there. Well, we'll break out some tools I probably haven't touched in 20 years. Maybe if I can get one of these little small screwdrivers in there. Not super hopeful on this. It spins, but it won't. You know, maybe if I could cut a slot right there with my X-Acto knife. Probably not ideal. That's metal. There ain't no way that's metal. That's plastic. This video may or may not make the library. Just saying. boy, I just bent that. Can't put any pressure on those little screwdrivers. They're not made for prying. I don't know what to do here. I can't get two screwdrivers in there to hold it, so I don't really know where I'm going to go with that. Just impossible. Wow. I mean, that's all I got is wow. How did Daiwa ever intend to get that damn thing out of there? And if I get it going, it's probably going to fly and I'm going to lose it. And you know, this is brain surgery when it comes to fishing reels. This is not typical. I have to try to get a snap ring out that's yeah, it's not going to go. Well, folks, it's falling apart on me now. I'll come back when I actually accomplish something. I might have to get my Dremel tool out and cut just like a little slot in there. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So what I've done here is I've took my Dremel with a diamond bit on it. Can you see that? Thing won't focus for whatever reason. A little bitty tip bit. And I cut a little bitty groove, and I don't know if you can tell, but the snap ring is coming out. Now, I got to be able to get all my fingers up in here, which I can't seem to do. Oh boy. And keep that from going into orbit on me. There, I got it. Wow, I still don't really have it. Let's see, you can see how tight of an area I'm working in here. But I've got the snap ring started out, but now I'm worried it's going to go flying. You see it? Wow, that's all I got to say is this was not these bearings are not really all that serviceable. Hey, I got it. Now I got to get the bearing, which I should be able to just pop it out from back here. Got the bearing out. Lord have mercy. Well, there's the bearing. We have a new bearing here. We'll put it in place. Goes in the bottom. Where'd that come from? A shim just fell out of the sky. I have no idea where it goes. Golly. This is something else. Where did it go? It didn't come out of what I was working on. I was literally sitting here looking at this thing and this shim just falls out of the sky. Anyway, I'm going to clean up Get all the little shavings and stuff out of there. The shim doesn't go up in where I was just working. I have no idea where it goes. We're going to look at the schematic here in a second. Maybe get lucky and find it. I've got tools out everywhere. This turned out to be a major project. Schematic's horrible. It's not on the handle. 75 yoke washer. That's where it went. It goes on there. Okay. Back in business. Whew. That bearing will push down in there. Now, for my next trick, to get that snap ring in there without it. I just lost it. So we're out of business. No snap ring means no way to fix it. We'll come back when I get parts. Hey, let's try this again, take 3. After 15 minutes with a flashlight on my hands and knees, look what I found. I don't know what I got to do to make sure that this thing doesn't go into orbit on me, because I can't get my fingers down. This reel is just too small. But I'm going to try. We'll try really hard to keep a thumb over top of it. There it is. I got it. There, the snap ring is in. So, Lord, I tell you what, sometimes the pleasure ain't worth the pain on these reels. But look at all the tools I've got out. I got all my Dremel stuff is out. Yeah, it's been one of them days. So let's put the yoke plate back in there. And it got these 2 springs. The springs went against those washers. That's where the washer went that fell out of the sky, of all things. It's still falling apart on me. This will go in. Don't really need to lubricate this reel any. It's in pretty good shape. We got a keyed washer. This is for your drag. This is the one that doesn't want to slide on easily. You got an eared washer. Well, you got another carbon washer, and then you got an eared washer, and the ears go down. Okay. Then a small carbon washer, and a keyed washer, and that little step in the keyed washer goes up towards the bearing. And the bearing, there's a little bitty brass washer, bearing, and then you got the washer with the step in it that had the felt thing on. We don't need that because these are sealed bearings. And then you're gonna, the step goes down towards the bearing, and you're gonna put these cupped washers, coned washers, bellowed washer, whatever you want to call them. They go towards each other. All right, let's put this thing back together one last time. Hopefully, this was fun. Not. So that the problem I'm having putting it back together is the jack plate is on, you know, it's against springs, so it doesn't want to stay in place to, and see, it's already moved on me, and that's not right. It's got it, man, oh man, it's just right where I want it to be. It won't stay. Maybe I got it that time. Incredible. Freaking incredible. Get a couple of screws in it to hold it down so I can let go of it and get the screws started on it. So that little snap ring, there was just no way to get a hold of it to pop it out of there. So I had to cut a little groove into its groove in a perpendicular manner so that I could get a small screwdriver under a little eyeglass screwdriver that looks like a needle and get it started up. And then of course, I got it out of there without it going for a flight on me, but getting it back in there, I did not have my fingers in a tactical location with it, and it just decided to fly wrong. And it actually hit. It's just a good reason to wear safety glasses when you work on these things, and I wasn't, but it hit right beside my eye, and it hit over against the wall over here and bounced back into my tool tray. If it hadn't been for that, and like I said, I was on my hands and knees looking all over the floor thinking I thought I heard it hit the floor. It actually had hit my tool tray. It sounded like the floor. So the good news is I found it. It's back in there. I don't have to wait a week to get one in to finish the reel up. And I'm sure that part's still available. It's probably used in reels still today. Let's put the drag adjuster on so we can tighten down and make sure the reel's functional. So you can check the gear side. It's going to make gear noise because you don't have the spool keeping everything in line. That's free spool. Okay, now let's put the spool back in there. Now, these little flyweights, they will come off on you. I run both weights. Some people run no weights. And of course, your cover, let's put just a little drop of oil on there. And there is the bearings changed on a Slosh 2030 and all the aggravations that goes along with this is live. I don't try to edit anything out. I'm coming back with exactly what I went through with it. Oh my goodness, why is it all out of line? That's not normal. That one's going fine. That one's going fine. This screw doesn't want to mate up. There it goes. Sometimes you just gotta hold your mouth right, I guess, folks. We'll see how this thing spins after I get it together and wipe it down good and all that good stuff. We were able to change 3 out of 4 bearings. The one bearing I couldn't change was in the end of the handle, and it's not in that bad a shape. Let's adjust that. Well, that don't sound good, does it? Something over here is it's the flyweights. Okay. Like I said, I could take those flyweights out, but I'm gonna leave them. Get this thick washer goes in between the handle and the star drag. Tighten that down. This handle can go in two different places. It can go in a more of a power handle type mode if you're using it for, if you're using it for actually catching fish. For me, I just want it to be able to crank fast when I bring my anchor back in, so I put it in the more of a speed mode section. Put that in there. Let me look around, make sure I didn't leave any parts out. I think I got it all. Yep. And I may end up at some point pulling those flyweights off. I may get out to a park with this thing and play with it a little bit more. Now it's got some really smooth bearings in it. This thing will take 14, 20, and 25 pound tests. It will take 235 yards of 25, 295 of 20, and 490 of 14. I run 17 pound Suffix Tritanium Plus is what I use for casting. I just really like that line. I've tried a lot of different lines. For fighting line, I prefer Trilene Big Game or Andes. I don't like those for casting though. They're not the best that I found for casting. So it is a lot smoother, folks. Just in cranking it. I hear those flyweights hitting. Probably take the flyweights out and that thing would spin for 5 minutes. But that's okay. It'll get better. You gotta figure those are brand new bearings. So, okay. Well, there it is in all of its glory. Daiwa SL30H and SL30SH or SL20SH. That's why we call them Slosh 20s, Slosh 30s. And they're really good reels. I highly recommend them. This is John, the Vintage Fisherman. If you like what you saw today and all the mess ups with it, please like the video. If you want to see me mess up again when I'm building a reel, subscribe so you can get notifications. Thank you. I went back. I remembered I bought a new spool for this reel late last year, and I never super tuned it. So after I put the bearings in, I was hearing a little noise in it, and the spool wasn't running true. So I went back and trued it up. It needs to loosen those bearings up some, but that's a whole lot better. Anyway, there it is. I use those triggers on my anchor rods. It's a Okuma Longitude. There's the specs on the rod. It says 3 to 8. I'm throwing 6 ounces with it most of the time. If I got to throw heavier than that, I'm just going to have to grab a different rod. But there it is. Thanks for watching, folks.